Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. We've got more camp footage to break down. We've got camp news. We have a little bit of news to talk about in general, contract extension news, and the big one, Shemar Stewart signed his rookie contract, ending a holdout, let's talk about it, a stupid holdout. Honestly, it was silly. And I've talked to people from multiple angles of this situation, and we broke down, well, it had to be like 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. We broke down everything we knew about the situation, and it remained true. It remained just that. Shemar Stewart and Zach Hiller, his agent, were trying to get a little bit more of a signing bonus up front. And remember, I just want to be clear on this. The signing bonus money is already known. You cannot get more money. What you can do, because they come in 2 payments, you get your first one when you sign, you get the other ones either 60 days later, or in the Bengals case, sometimes you don't get it for like 15 weeks later, or in December. Marius Mims got his in the first week of December. So what eventually was negotiated for this new contract language to be in there, something that Demetrius Knight agreed to as a second-round pick. We talked about that and how that would change the dynamic, and maybe even, I didn't think Shemar had a lot of leverage here, but when Demetrius Knight signed that, I was like, yeah, there's nothing left. This deal has to get done pretty soon. And it ultimately did, obviously. But what happened, what the deal ended up being is, for that new language, they moved up $500,000 from the second payment to the first payment. $500,000. You held out for $500,000. We moved up a matter of a few months. And I know that's a lot of money for us, but for an NFL player, when you could have signed this deal in May, if you would have signed it in May, $500,000 over the last 3 months, you would have had that money already. Like, you could be doing a lot with that money in those last 3 months rather than waiting now. And you would have gotten reps. I mean, everything. You may make more if you have a great rookie year and you have a good career. Maybe this only impacts you a small percent, but we're talking about $500,000 when, if you're winning rookie of the year and if you go on to be a rookie Pro Bowler, and you're going to make that back, if not more, way more, in your second contract. That stuff carries weight. You're a former first-round pick and you got the accolades. You'll get a big contract. Anyway, that deal is done. We're going to look over Shemar Stewart's first day in a Bengals uniform, wearing number 97 of the great Geno Atkins, who we had as number 3 in the greatest Bengals list last summer. Not that there's any link between the two of them other than wearing 97. And that's nice to see. Although we will get a clip of Shemar Stewart in at 3-tech, in at defensive tackle. That gives us a little bit of a glimpse of what Al Golden is doing with his defense, which is a segment I'll probably save for the end of this episode. So we'll watch some clips of Shemar. We're going to watch some clips of other things that happened. I believe this is day 3 of camp. And then talk about what so far we see from the defense, which I think there's a lot of things to talk about, and we will jump in. So here is Shemar Stewart's first day in a Bengals uniform. And there's Shemar walking out with some claps and some cheers from the loyal fans that are out there early in the morning, walking out with McKinley Jackson, who wears number 93 this year. But first impressions, right? The guy looks big, looks long, strong. He definitely stayed in shape, but just naturally a big dude. And if you're wondering, someone asked me, what can we expect from Shemar? I haven't watched any of the draft stuff. I just jump in now in training camp. This is a real question I got. And, well, we did an episode, I think a couple episodes on Shemar Stewart. One before the draft, one after the draft. There's a lot of clips there. If you type in Shemar Stewart and First Star in YouTube, that's bound to come up as he goes through individuals and position work, warm-ups, and working on, discarding the bags. You're stacking them, peeking, shedding, and moving on, and running with the other defensive linemen, getting conditioning in and getting ready to go as they work through some of the install stuff as well, which Jerry Montgomery, the defensive line coach, said he put him in all of the installs, all of the install plays. I believe it was 10 of them is what they said. But then we get our first reps here of Shemar Stewart wearing number 97 as he's going to get Well, triple teamed right away. Let's go. Send the triple team at him. And there's a couple things to note here as he's next to McKinley Jackson on this play. But I'm going to note he's going to get the chip here from the tight end, right? And it's Tanner Hudson. And then I believe that's Devin Cochran, who's been the second team right tackle, number 76. And the only real big surprise of this clip is that the right guard here with the second team is Cordell Volson. That's 67 that dives in right there to give Shemar Stewart a shove to the side and back to make sure he doesn't affect this play at all. Get Cordell Volson. If already Dylan Fairchild is the left guard, and it seems like he is, and Volson is competing for backup right guard spot, or maybe competing for the right guard spot now that Lucas Patrick is down, he hurt his ankle or calf, I'm assuming. He's got a sleeve on it. They don't have to report injuries right away. It's a lower right leg injury, it looks like. But if Volson's already getting to reps at right guard, it might mean he's in that competition for the right guard spot.
Video from Joe Denneman focusing on Shemar Stewart's first rep in 11 on 11. Joe Burrow's in the pistol with a running back behind him. So you'll see a play action here with Mike Gesicki doubling with Amarius Mims and just chipping Shemar Stewart as the play action happens. He's got a read run first, so really doesn't get a chance to get into a pass rush. I want you to see right there, Kris Jenkins tries spin move on Dylan Fairchild.
Did you guys see that? I'm listening to myself. This is a clip I posted on Twitter for subscribers. So if you weren't paying attention right there to what I'm saying, this guy right here, let me use my marker this is like a multiverse Joe going on here as listen to myself analyze. But you're going to get a spin move as Kris Jenkins works in this way and then spins back that way. He's right there. So I just wanted to be clear on that as we let it play again here so you can see what I was talking about. Let me go back a little bit further.
Read run first, so really doesn't get a chance to get into a pass rush. I want you to see right there, Kris Jenkins tries spin move on Dylan Fairchild. Fairchild looks like he's got great positioning on that.
Yeah, Fairchild to me has looked good in a lot of clips. And you got Fairchild versus Shemar Stewart at the 3-tech spot here. As it looks like Stewart wants to go to the outside real quick, and Fairchild's going to jump out to the outside and get a hand on him right away. And I'm going to explain this play a little bit further when we get to the other clips of the rest of the team, because it's how Stewart ended up at defensive tackle and why Fairchild looks like he's jumping out and making contact right away. But you see right here, what I want to point out is as you get the guy to over lunge to the outside, now Stewart, the other prospect, Shemar Turner, not on the Bengals. Shemar Stewart tries to work back inside. You see the right hand of Fairchild come in and really grip him and allow him right there. You see it around his neck, shoulder area. And then Fairchild flips his hips, gets his body back in, gets his other hand back in, and is able to corral Shemar Stewart as that ball comes out pretty quickly. As we move on with more clips from camp, you may have wondered, Joe, why did we have such that little screen to look at for the last segment? Well, like I said, these are all coming from the beat reporters and the other reporters and journalists and everyone that's there that covers the team, and some fans from this day because they had the season ticket holders and the Shriek members that were there. So we got some clips from those guys as well. These are now the horizontal films. So I got to break them into two different segments because you can't save. It would be weird. Just trust on that one. And now we jump into the horizontal. So now it's bigger and we can dive in and we can look at things a little bit clearer. Just what's going on here, right? Kris Jenkins still playing a lot more than BJ Hill so far in camp. Whatever Hill's dealing with, there he is back there. He's watching. Remember, it was the foot. He had a boot on for a little bit. It's good reps for Kris Jenkins, though. And it's funny because there were people in the subscriber Discord, the subscribers that I have on Twitter. We have, thousands of people in the Discord. It's a good time there. But people are saying, we really haven't seen anything from Kris Jenkins, or Dylan Fairchild has beaten Kris Jenkins. Whatever it may be, people weren't seeing those flashes. Well, in this day, we did get a bunch of flashes out of Kris Jenkins Jr., and that's a good thing. But, I'd love to see him develop as a defensive tackle. The other guy here is TJ Slaton, who to me keeps flashing and having good battles with Ted Karras, having good battles with Dylan Fairchild. We're going to see some losses out of Cody Ford today. So get ready for that. We're also going to see a loss out of Amarius Mims today. So I don't want to, make the O-line sound bad, because we're going to see a Dylan Fairchild loss as well. What I wanted to say, though, what I wanted to get to is we're going to see a really big win out of the offensive line as well. So I believe the first rep here is just people getting excited about Shemar, looking at Shemar a little closer. You know, a lot of the journalists and beat guys were really focused on him, as to be expected. And we have, I want to point out, Mike Gesicki in right here. I don't know if we got this play. Oh, yeah, I did break down this play before. This is just a tighter view of it, I believe, as Joe Burrow's in that pistol, does a little play action, and then ends up throwing it to T. Higgins down the middle of the field here. And it looks like T. Higgins just has a comeback route here off play action, which we're seeing a lot of play action. It looks like the backups are all in on defense. So this is first team offense going against second team defense. I'm going to point him out every time because BJ Hill is a funny dude. Every time he's watching, every time I pause videos, I see him in the background. It's like he's where's Waldo? He pops up every time. But DJ Ivy at the boundary corner here. And then you're going to see here all the backups here. Maybe the starting safeties are out there because I see Tyson Anderson. I don't always look at this as in-depthly as when I start stopping it and talk to you guys because I see Tyson Anderson there, and to me that looked like 22 or 27. So maybe the starting safeties are out on the field. We got a new number 21 on the team as T hooks up, catches that ball, and runs down the field. Oren Burks, number 42, just so we're clear, that was him there. And this was the part of the clip that we were going to start with here before we skip to the other play there. We haven't seen too much of Demetrius Knight. We're going to get a couple clips of Demetrius Knight. Here he is. Here he's going to bump. I don't know which tight end that is, if that's Drew Sample or Tanner Hudson from that spot. But he's going to bump him and let him go. This must be a zone coverage as DJ Turner is going to be the discussion point for a few of these plays as well. You're going to see they're really trying to... You got two defenders, rushers going this way, while Slaton's going to go this way. And largely because it's a play action. We have faked the run this way, and now we're booting Joe Burrow this way. As you can see, Burrow is right there, right? Running and going in this direction. So a lot of misdirection here. I still don't know what number that is. Maybe that was 88. Is there an 88 right now on the team at tight end? 86? I'm thinking, why did I slow it down? It's because I like the way Shemar Stewart and Dylan Fairchild were. Watch Stewart come over, tap him on the head like, good block. You know, you're doing well out here. Very supportive teammate on his first day with the team. Now, this is the play where Stewart got kicked inside to defensive tackle. And you may have thought, how did he end up at defensive tackle? Are they kicking him inside already? This is something we expect to see from the Bengals in 2025. It also raises a question for me about Trey Hendrickson as well, because I think they want these big guys that can do more and kick inside and drop into coverage. So big guys don't drop into coverage. But on this side, Joseph Osai is standing up, and he is going to drop into coverage as Burrow has a quick throw here. But what speeds this all up is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the line that look like they could be coming. And this so far seems like a staple of Al Golden. We're going to show you multiple guys, but we're only going to rush 4. They will blitz at times, but this is something they did in Notre Dame as well, as Yoshi's in the slot over here. Oh, there's BJ Hill. There he is. Found him. Before you guys, don't tell me you found him first. Where was it going? Oh, they're going to show multiple rushers, and then they're only going to bring 4. So what happens here is Demetrius Knight gets on this line here, and he's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And Joseph Osai is going to drop into coverage into the flats. And all they're doing is just shifting everything down 1. So I'm sure Stewart started here, and then when they saw what they wanted on defense, he kicked in 1. And then Slaton kicked over to the 0. And then Kris Jenkins kicked over to 3 tech, right? So they just kicked everyone over 1, and they're giving Demetrius Knight the chance to rush. And to be clear, they did this a bunch with Lou Anarumo and Jermaine Pratt. Pratt was always the guy that came down to the line. Sometimes Akeem Davis-Gaither when they were in 3 linebacker sets. This looks like just a 2 linebacker, especially against a slot receiver, 3 wide receiver set, 11 personnel. But what I want to point out is the reason you do this is because what'd you end up with? Orlando Brown on Demetrius Knight, Dylan Fairchild on Shemar Stewart, one-on-one with Slaton and Kris, one-on-one with Jenkins and Ford, and then here's Amarius Mims blocking nobody. Why? Because they dropped out. They figured it'd be one-on-one on the offensive line, but you're dropping out Osai. So if Burrow saw this real fast and was like, oh, I'll just flip this to Samaje Perine at running back real quick, well, that's where Osai is dropping into coverage. So you're taking an offensive lineman off the field basically for the offense when you show this and only bring 4. It's a good way to get advantages. But I do wonder if the Bengals will, let's say this was Trey Hendrickson at right defensive end. Would they kick him in and go against a defensive tackle? Would they, let's say the play was flipped. Would they drop Trey Hendrickson that much in the coverage? I only did it about once per game last year, in the last 4 years, really. So they're showing it much more often now. So it's an interesting thing to wonder how well he fits or what they would do. Or maybe when you have Trey, you would do this less often and you just go let him attack because that's what he does. And you try to really give him that advantage. And I think Trey can beat guards, right? Like, so I don't think it's a problem to kick him inside as much as he doesn't really do it. All right, different play here. It's a win for Kris Jenkins Jr. on a run play. We got to run up the middle as the Bengals are releasing all their guys to the second level. We're going to bring this back and show you. Zoom in a little closer. That's Amarius Mims. He's coming up to block Kris Jenkins Jr., right? Because we're pulling. We're going to pull Fairchild around, who's going to get the block over here. So everyone's going to block down a little bit. You got to trust me on the angle here, what I'm saying. So Amarius Mims blocking down would be getting to Kris Jenkins Jr. because typically he would have a defensive end, right? So he's got to come down and get the defensive tackle. And you're going to see here as the play starts, we got a jet motion coming across. Looks like a tight end. Looks like Cam Grandy. But keep your eyes on Jenkins. Jenkins comes out with both hands out, makes contact with Amarius Mims. Like, he understands the blocking assignment already, how these guys are attacking him. That's great because I thought he flashed the awareness early as a rookie last year, but then lost it. I ended up getting chewed up too much in the run game. So he's getting his hands on him. He's sinking his butt and he's bending his knees. Like, I love to see this. And what you're going to see on the other half of this is right there. Look at Kris Jenkins' hand. Right up on it probably got too high. It probably started here and then worked his way up there. You probably won't get called for that too much. You may once in a while. But what that means is the tallest guy there is Mims. He got under Mims and lifted Amarius Mims up. And then from there, he's easier to discard and shed. And right there, you see him working his arm back over with the arm over. Jenkins getting free, getting into the hole, and then meeting the running back at the hole. That's great run rep from Kris Jenkins Jr. So if you're looking for more clips, more things I've broken down, you can find those on Twitter at Joe Goodberry. We'll have more for Friday's episode. The Bengals are putting on pads after this one. So Monday, they're putting on pads. You're going to watch this on Tuesday. So I'm behind on the clips. But if you like these, you like the breakdowns, you like seeing what I'm doing, it's going to be a little bit behind. You may notice things you did not notice before. If you are on Twitter and you are seeing these clips in real time, if you're into that. If you're not, I suggest you get on there, and I've got a list of all these beat reporters that you can follow and see their clips and see these training camp videos if you're into that thing. Some people are, some people are not. I've seen people already. I'm enough with camp breakdowns and highlights and stats. Hey, I'm with you, but it's also fun. I enjoy it. Bengals football is back, and I said I want to talk a little bit about the El Golden defense. They look very multiple so far. They look very aggressive. I like how they're switching who they're dropping and who's coming. That means you need players with high versatility. And looking at the draft, I don't know that they got that, right? Like, Shemar Stewart can be a very versatile guy on the D-line. I will say that. That may have been the attractive part. It's like, hey, we can play him at right, at left, at defensive tackle. He even played nose tackle at times and was doing loops and stunts, which we're seeing a ton of stunting from the El Golden defense so far as well. So I think Stewart fits that. But someone asked, do the Bengals really have that Viper linebacker that can rush if they're going to do that with like Demetrius Knight? And I don't think they do. And there weren't too many guys to choose from in this draft, so maybe that's why they didn't. Oren Burks, though, has done that. He has done it in his past. He's a guy that I wonder if like that's a good fit, if that's a guy he wanted, because he thinks he can do a lot with Oren Burks. I Akeem Davis-Gaither would have been interesting in that role, but we've said that for years under Lou Anarumo as well. Still, I think the secondary looks aggressive, looks fast, looks like they're clear and comfortable. Geno Stone has talked about how he loves that they have control and answers for everything under Al Golden, so I think that should get them playing faster. Another thing to address is DJ Turner is on the low end of a lot of these highlights. He's in a lot of the low lights. Someone's got to lose in these reps. I caution making too much evaluation from that sometimes. Because even last year, you remember Yoshi was beating Turner deep. Turner ended up having a really good year. There were times where people weren't sure if Dax looked good at corner based on the clips we were getting from camp. And Dax ended up being their better corner for the 5 weeks that he did start there before getting hurt. Speaking of Dax, looks like he is playing a lot of the slot this year and rotating in that way. Still on a pitch count, so maybe not too much to take from it, as it looks like they want everyone to be able to play every position. So I would caution there and say, we're not sure yet. I know there's a lot of boundary Dax fans out there. I'm still in the put him in the slot and get a superhero in there, a guy with that length and agility and speed. Maybe he doesn't have the agility right now because of the knee, but get that speed and that length inside. I think he could be extraordinary in there and special. So I'm still with that. So I'm cool with seeing him inside there. I think overall we're going to see more, maybe less rotation at safety than we did when we had Bell and Battle, and they're trying to figure that out. More rotation at corner. Bengals really didn't do that too much under Lou. And then maybe more rotation at linebacker. I wonder if we can get a real sense of what linebacker is going to look like in preseason here. We're not too far from preseason, about a week away. So hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time on Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. It is and always will be Who Dey.
Bengals fans, tired of the same old post-game chatter? Want real insight beyond the scoreboard? Then you need Bengals on the Brain with Joe Goodberry, presented by First Star Logistics. Joe Goodberry isn't just a fan, he's a die-hard Bengals football analyst. Every week, Joe dives deep into the Bengals game film, breaking down the plays that mattered, revealing hidden strategies, and uncovering the true impact of individual performances. Get ready for post-game analysis like you've never heard before, player evaluations that go beyond the stats, and the most in-depth Bengals draft coverage on the internet. Don't just watch the Bengals, understand the Bengals. Subscribe to Bengals on the Brain with Joe Goodberry on the First Star Media Group's YouTube channel. Get smart, get obsessed, get Bengals on the Brain.